So you press the play button and you're finally in the game. Now you've created your empire, you've already done all those things, and now you've come into the game. So very straightforward. It shows you all your ethics, your people, and sort of the kind of traits that they have. Tells you about your origin, and what do? You click begin. Now, there's a lot of stuff happening on this page, which not many people understand what's going on. So let's slowly take the time to understand what each and every one of these icons mean and how to play the game properly so you can understand what's going on. So first things first, when you see the game, you can see that you've loaded into your home system. This is my home system. And there's my home planet, which is your capital of your empire, right? So just like a country in the real world, it has a capital. It's a city inside that country. Now, in our Stellaris world, inside your galaxy, obviously, instead of having a country inside as your capital, you've chosen a planet as the capital where all the galaxy-wide administration of your empire happens there. Pretty straightforward. Now, when you look up here, there's a little bar on up here. There's some stuff over here. There's stuff here, 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 and on the side. So very straightforward. Let's start off from the top to the left. So over here, the picture of our empire. It's our governments tab. Shows us very simple information. Our first tab is our government. Shows us our leader. That little picture we designed. Talks about our ruler traits. So this is what our ruler has. It's automatically generated. Shows us our ruler level. Talks about our government type. You can read these kind of cool stuff. Our government ethics, our civics, our heir. Now when we press play, it'll show us our heir who's going to be taking over once our person here dies. Shows us our origin, and then the reform government. You can choose this, but I would suggest ignore that for now. Modifiers, relations, that kind of stuff. Next tab is our demographics tab. Over here shows us all the different types of population. Currently, we have 32 population on one of our planets. Again, this will increase over time, lets us know. And then sort of our population effects. We have happiness of +10 due to our, our new generation champions of people. These kind of stuff, just to let you know, those kind of speeds. Advisor. Again, when we chose our advisor sounds in the beginning, again, you can change the advisor sound over here.
This pre-recorded message is triggered in the event that your VR unit has suffered a critical degradation of its ethical constraints matrix.
So that was a tongue twister right there. But basically, you can change your advisor voice from here. You can look through all these kind of things, look at the relations with people, look at your political diplomatic weight power and what's coming from where, which we'll get into when we get to the Federation section of this game, and that kind of stuff. We can X out of this, go to our next thing. Over here is our energy credits. Very straightforward. Energy credits in this game in Stellaris is basically money. And we will go into the money a little bit more. Now, pretty straightforward for someone who doesn't understand this game, like me when I first started off. Thank God Stellaris managed to care about us and put down sort of what is happening here. It tells us what we're getting our energy from. It tells us what we're using our energy for and what's happening. And then it tells us even how we can make that. So we can build generator districts on our colonized planets. We can construct ships on those things. And then maybe we can even sell resources on our market to buy it. So that kind of stuff. Again, we'll go into a little more details on those in separate videos. But just for now, we'll talk about this. Same thing idea here. Our minerals, straight idea, same idea. Our food storage, again, these plus numbers tell us how much we're gaining per month. Our consumer goods. Now, based on your empire, you might need consumer goods. Some empires might not need consumer goods. Consumer goods are great for certain buildings in your empire to benefit them. Alloys. Alloys are a really, really, really strategic resource because we need these in order to develop and build ships, build stations, and all those kind of things. Minerals are used, that are mined. Minerals are used to develop alloys. So again, you can build that on your planets, which we will talk about that. Influence. Influence are a really good sort of like resource that you get. Obviously, influence, you can't mine it, you can't do anything, but influence is based on how your your internal government structure works. Using certain diplomatic stuff obviously loses those influence. In the base game, it is very not the base. In the beginning of the game, it is 100% needed that you save and preserve this number and increase it. Do not waste your time, but always make sure the higher this number is, the easier it is for you to build out your empire. Unity has a tree, which again we'll talk about these in separate sections. Unity number increases that, which allows you to use your Unity to get certain perks. Your technology number, so this is the number and the amount of research technology coming out of your empire to allow you to research things much better, much faster, much easier. You can see over here we have 3 different types of research in our game: physics, society, and engineering. And the higher these numbers are, the easier it is for your research to be found. Strategic resources, these are sort of the resources you're going to learn in the game. We'll talk about this in a separate video, but the same idea as our mineral energies and food. The more higher plus numbers you get per month, the more you stockpile, the more you keep. Next one, this is our Empire Sprawl. Empire Sprawl is a very interesting one. It's a newer feature to the game. Empire Sprawl is just like in real life. The more people you have, the more government services or administration you need to ensure the protection or the maintaining of the order of your entire empire. So making sure that this number stays always higher than this number, because once this goes over that number, it literally means that it's going to start giving you negative debuffs to your entire empire, meaning could be affecting your ships, your population happiness, and those kind of stuff. The way you could fix this is straightforward. Either researching technology that would increase it, or building administration buildings on your planets. Next one here is your envoys. Envoys are very straightforward again. These are used to improve relations with certain empires. It allows you to send them to the galactic community, or if you have a federation, send them to increase your influence in those certain things. Or you can even use them for spying, which is a new mechanic added in the latest DLC. Pretty straightforward. Envoys are just like ambassadors in real life. Someone you send to somewhere to talk to, sort of send your rep out to the galaxy. Empire population, pretty straightforward. The amount of people in your empire that are a certain type of species. Starbase capacity. Every system has a outpost. That doesn't count though. But when you upgrade your outpost to a space station, that is a starbase. So this is a starbase, which you can use, which we'll talk about in a different video. And the naval capacity. Naval capacity is a really great one. This is what talks about the amount of ships you can have in your entire empire's fleet. Now again, 30 doesn't sound like a great number for the beginning of the game. Makes basic sense. But again, the larger this number gets, the more ships you can have, and based on the game, you can research to increase this number and sort of build some buildings on your planets to allow for that number to happen. Next, over here, pause play. Look at that. Straightforward. I think you got that. Time and date. Wow, wonderful. We know what's happening. Good job. You can increase the speed here, or you can use these. If you hover over them, you can see these hotkeys that you can use to better benefit you. Outlier. Great. Push this button, goes away. Easy, done, blammo. No, joking. Click this. Shows you basic understanding of what's happening. This will increase over time. This will decrease over time. All based on what you want. Shows you your planets, which you can click on to see your planets, which we'll talk about in a different video. Shipyards. So your ships that, well, you know, shipyards where you can design and build your ships. Fleets, your military fleet. Again, we'll talk about these later. Civilian ships. This is the one you want to be using the most, this tab. Again, clicking on these tabs can hide them, open them up based on the way you like things. Construction ships are used to construct things. Science ships are used to science things. I know that's a very vague answer, but again, we'll talk about that in a different video. Down here, straightforward. I'm not going to talk about all of them, but if you hover over them, pretty straightforward. These ones here are the views of your entire galaxy-wide view. You can kind of click on these kind of stuff, use these sections to help you understand. Left side here, you can see the small ones. You hover over it, expands. We will go into these separately in every video, but we'll quickly go over this before we end. Contacts talks about the known empire list. Situation logs talks about a lot of events that happen in the galaxy. Market, this is where you can sell and buy stuff. So again, like I said, energy credits are considered money in this game. So if you have a maximum storage capacity of minerals, you can sell them to get energy credits, and then you can probably use that to buy, I don't know, alloys, that kind of stuff. Planets and sectors, that again we'll talk about. Talks about the different planets you have, the different sectors you have your planets in. Sort of helps out with government administration, so you don't have to be constantly dealing with them, because when you get to the mid game, there's so many planets you have, so much to deal with. Policies, again, activate your empire's policies, which we will talk about in a different video. Edicts is a section where you can enable some edicts to either give you some positive buffs to help you out, or again help out your population, just to make your empire much easier. Society management talks about the unity tree. It'll talk about the traditions, relics, minor artifacts, these crisis progressions, these kind of things, which again we will talk about in a different video. Ship designer, every ship in your empire can be designed to add in different types of weapons, vehicles, well, starfighters, these kind of things to help you out in the long run, to help you design your ships, customize your ships in offense to the different empire that you're attacking, or those kind of things. Fleet manager, a really good section which we'll talk about in a different video, just about explaining the different military fleets and the capacity your fleet's commander can command in order to have that. Technology, again, this is where you can use you can do your research for technology. Factions, if you're an organic empire like we are, factions start to grow up inside who are more pro this, pro that, con this, con that, that kind of stuff. Claims, again, when you meet empires, you have to start claiming their systems in order to go to war with them. Species, again, just a good place where you want to do genetic tailoring. And leaders, every empire needs its leaders, which give you buffs. Last section, this one here at the bottom, this tells you your system name. You can rename the system if you like. Obviously, a lot of fun names have been coming out of this one. Tells you if you're paused or you're playing. Again, if it's paused, great. What is it doing? It's paused. Again, shows your empire. You can look at this to view your government, and then this is where you can click to take you out to the galaxy map. Again, you can use the shortcuts or M or E, whichever is more comfortable to you, and takes you out to the galaxy map. There you go. So that's just a quick basic understanding and the rollout of what's happening around you. Pretty straightforward. This is a lot of information, but when you kind of get what's going on, makes a lot of sense in the long run. So hopefully we all understand that. If you have any questions, please put it in the comment down below, and I'll be happy to help you out. But hopefully this kind of gives you basic idea and understanding. And I know it's a lot of information, but once you get it down the first time, you're always going to get it. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.